what I really noticed when I came over at that time, that all the clubs were there were a German club, there was a Polish club, there was a Serbian, and everybody had, the Polish club was called Polonia, and the Bavarians were called Bavarians, and the Serbians as United Serbians, and the Italians were called Verdis. But our club from day number one was Milwaukee Brewers. We never took, a German name. We went right away toward the city, and so that's something to be proud of. It wasn't just, most of us were German, but they were looking in the future, and they didn't want to come across like it only is, to a particular group of people. And I recognized that as time went by, that was a good foresight to, come up with something like that. These colors are the basic colors what we play.
Right.
Red, white. You can see the magazine is red and white, That was not ever used as a logo. That's just when they established the club. I mean, this is really, this was all in plastic. I mean, this was like, this is what we are, remind us over and over. I did see the new logo, and it really brings thoughts from, past days and when we came over into the 60s, 50s, and 40s, obviously, when the club was found. And the meaning of it, in friends you can trust it, it obviously doesn't just apply to the 2 hours on the field, or, it's every day of the week, and every time at practice, and it sounds to me like the club is trying to continue the tradition, what we have, and stay in touch even when we don't play soccer anymore, and the families and the wives, and what we were hoping for is finally coming through. It's like all over the same. The older we get, the more we appreciate the history, right? Isn't that how life is?
Yeah, that was the Wisconsin Challenge Cup, and they won it 5 times in a row. And most of the players that are on this team, we know most of them. There might be 2 that we don't know, but most of the players, some of them we played with, and the manager, we knew him too. That's one of the old ones, 1955.
And he said these are won it 5 times. This picture represents it when we won it the 8th time.
Right.
Okay, we really won the Amateur Cup quite a lot.
Right.
Okay, because all of our players basically were amateur. I only know one guy where somewhere down the line said, how come he isn't playing in the Amateur Cup? He must have got a couple of bucks under the table from somebody, but it wasn't us.
And that trophy too, that's one of the Wisconsin Challenge Cup trophy too that we won, this one, and that one right there too, right.
Apparently at that time it was considered state championship,
Right,
because,
that was state championship.
because
yeah.
that's what it says on there, okay?
Right.
That was considered the state championship.
Yeah. And the trophy on that side there, that's the one when we won the championship in 1974. We beat the Bavarians 1-0. And during the game when we played and we scored 1 goal, the one guy said to me, oh no, here we go again. Because they knew they wouldn't score too easy against us, I mean, that's how it was between the Bavarians and us. If we scored 1 goal, most of the time, that was it for them. But if we would have scored more, we would have won a lot more championships too. But we didn't score enough. That was the problem many times.
We were a pretty successful team.
I came to this country in 1958 in October, and in 59 I joined the Brewer Soccer Club. And so first I started out in the 3rd team because we had a 3rd team too, but then after 1 year I worked myself up to the 2nd team, and then just before I went in the army I joined the 1st team then. I played here till 57. I was 57, but then my knees couldn't take it no more, and then I had to quit. If that wouldn't have happened, I would have been still playing old timers yet. I know I can play with some of them Brewer guys there.
I came to this country and 1960. And my uncle brought me over. I lived in Berlin, Germany. And my uncle was one of the founders. His name is Frank Brandes. He's one of the founders of the Milwaukee Brewers. And quite obvious, one of the first things I had to do, come over and see their club and be at the clubhouse. And obviously he wanted me involved to also play soccer. And so I got started, and that's the only club I have ever played. And that obviously also applies to Lawrence. I want to point that out. There are many people who would move from club to club, don't like the manager, but either one of us, we played our first day here in Milwaukee at the Brewers, and also our last day, okay?
I enjoyed that all my years that I played with them. Always had a good time.
I know Lawrence just basically from the first day on, okay? When I came, it was in the winter time, and I said, let's, hit some balls, and that means that, well, what do you mean? We have 2 foot of snow. So we both came with a big shovel, went out to the field and basically shoveled for 3 hours so that we could kick some balls at the goal. And knowing the Wisconsin winter, you had to shovel it 2-3 foot and then shovel it again to keep on moving it. And there was a kind of attitude where what really made us pretty good buddies from day number one.
This book was mainly when we took the trip to Germany in 1970, and then we played against certain teams in different locations. In every place where we played, they always wrote about us in their newspapers, so we cut it out, and that was really great. And this was written in German and all that, So they all enjoyed it when we came there too, And we were pretty successful too, because we played against one team they called Eckenstein, and they were up in a higher league, and they thought they were going to beat us, but we beat them 1-0. And later on, they didn't come back. They didn't come to the clubhouse because they lost.
Teed off.
Yeah, they were teed off. Right. In Nuremberg, where we played, there was one team. They beat us 5-2, but they had 2 that played in the highest league. They had players, and they were pretty good. We knew them by name, both of them. The one guy even played on the national team, So, but otherwise, on all the others, we held our own all the time, yeah. And we visit a lot of interesting places too. That was nice. Some of the places from real old times, where we played. And people that have been here, if they would go over there and see some of that, how many years back it goes, it's unbelievable, yeah. Altogether, we really had a good time and all that, and we did pretty well, and that was the most important thing, And we met a lot of new friends too from the other teams and that, and everybody that went along, they had a good time, and they loved Jägermeister, and that's, and the beer and all that. And one thing is too in Germany, when you belong to the club and to all of them, a lot of them, they always go afterwards, they go there and they have a good time.
We had our clubhouse at the 60th and Bradley, and it was a small place, but it was a cozy place. And we had, besides a couple of beers, we had table tennis and some dances and that type of stuff. And so when I joined, and they just said, oh, we got this big, all this acreage and all this room there. And I thought, well, this is going to be a bright future. But somewhere down the line, I found out that that the land actually was owned by some individuals what were with the club, and jumping quite a bit ahead, somewhere down the line, the day came where one of the individuals got an offer but they couldn't refuse, and sold the land. We had to look for a new home, and we moved to 54th and Good Hope. The club bought some land there and then had some really big plans, okay? They determined that they're gonna make a business venture. And so the soccer club was a soccer club, but there also the people that bought the land. It was called Milwaukee Brewers Sports Center, okay? And you could buy stocks in it, okay? And all the people that were interested, including myself, and then, okay, what are you gonna do? A couple of thousand, I think it was $100 a stock, but the whole principle was not to get rich. The idea was, you know, to help soccer and create a home and do it on a scale where we have a large clubhouse and basically put us on the map, hopefully for years to come. And the whole idea of to promote soccer, the idea is that you want a history. It's not just coming and playing. I mean, people in Europe, you know, their father played, their grandfather played, and the children playing in the same club. When it isn't just playing, it's a lifestyle. Okay, it's not like you're going 2 hours to practice. You know, it's part of your life, and that's what this was supposed to represent. And so the plan was that they wanted to make sure that nobody really owns too many shares, that they could control it. So they had a rule like nobody could buy more than $10,000. And something very unfortunately happened. One of the founders of the club, his name is Frank Scherenberger, got a heart attack and died. And so things got a little bit stuck, and they didn't quite raise the money they wanted. And in the end, they determined, well, they're just going to sell whoever wanted to buy. And that was obviously a very big mistake. But anyhow, so they put it up. We had a nice big clubhouse. It was as big as Bavarian clubhouse, if anybody is familiar with you know, Bavarian Inn and so on. And we had a nice field in the back, and whatever. The governor declared Milwaukee Brewers Week, and Mayor at the time was Mayor Meyer, came and, you know, opened the field, and so somewhere down the line it was really nice, and then we picked up the sponsorship from Old Milwaukee Beer, what was obviously very fitting because all we had to do is add the name Old in front of it and our jerseys, and away we went.
I came to Milwaukee in 1985 to play with the Milwaukee Wave, and after our first season, Reza Namin was playing with the Brewers. In the off season, you know, we were looking for teams to stay fit with and just keep touches on the ball. And so Reza's like, hey, Tony, would you be interested in, you know, playing with the Brewers? And I said, sure. And so anyway, that's how I got kind of hooked up first time, and I really enjoyed the camaraderie we had on the team. At that point, there was no clubhouse or anything. We were just a group of guys playing. We'd train once a week, maybe even twice a week, you know, in the local parks and stuff. And then Clutch Park was our home. The camaraderie was really what kept us together. A lot of the good times were, you know, after practice or after games, you know, we'd sit around, have a few beers. I didn't play in goal when I was playing with them because I wanted to keep my fitness, so I played usually either in the left midfield or outside back on the left side. So that allowed me to get up and down the field a little bit, but it was fun. So, like I said, I think probably all told, I played my first 3 years in Milwaukee, played with the Brewers, and went from there. I continued to finish my playing career with the Milwaukee Wave. I finished in '93, and then I played a little bit of club ball with some other major teams, and the Brewers by that time were kind of non-existent, had kind of gone dormant. Through Frank Crivello, I got reconnected with the Brewers, and you know, it's been great. And you know, the rich tradition of the club is very special in Milwaukee, and you know, everybody within the community who knows soccer and knows the history of Milwaukee, especially majors and adult soccer, know the Brewers. I'm just honored to be a part of it.
We had 2 really solid seasons at the first division level. I think we won 2 league championships in a row. I decided we should move it to the next level. And then when that happened, I realized that we needed a coach. Jim Keller had been involved with the Brewers for several years. He seemed like a very good candidate to be the first coach in the modern era of the Brewers major.
When I came on board, I found that, you know what, I really didn't have to do a whole heck of a lot with teaching them about the game. They knew the game. We just had to figure out ways of getting them to be together as a team, especially a brand new team. I think that first year, Andrew, we won 1 game?
2, I think.
2.
Total. That was it.
We were really happy that we had 2 victories because we didn't have high expectations that first year. But it was really all about trying to get the core group moving together as a unit, and it really started clicking. We saw some hope for the next year, and everybody believed in what we were doing.
We recruited fairly well, and we brought in new players, and then each year, that next year we became stronger.
If we were to build a club in a manner to be competitive, it had to be more than about just competing every Sunday. We had attendance issues, we had 2 games in 1 day issues, all sorts of challenges.
The turning point was when we got a lot more serious as a club.
And that 3rd year was the first year where we were actually competitive in just about every game. We might not have been winning all of them, but we were definitely competitive. And that was the first time looking at our schedule going, we might actually have a shot at the playoffs. We're here now and we're one of the competitors annually in this league.
The early days, the middle period, and even now today, most of the players are saying that this club, it's not just about being on the field and winning, it's about being as a family off the field. And the Brewers logo is Friends in Trust, and I think it's a club that really exudes friendship throughout it.
We don't lose a lot of players. We get players in the club, and players like to play for us, and they continue to play throughout their career.
Potentially the closest thing you're going to find to a college team. Seeing people more than just, hey, Wednesday at practice, Sunday at a game, or something of that nature.
A good time out on the field, and then having some beers as a team.
We got into majors. Our home field was Brown Deer High School. At the time, we were grateful to have Brown Deer Field. And then, just through some soccer connections, we found out about an opportunity to play at Alverno College, which is a pristine, perfect grass field. We stepped up again with fields when we had the opportunity to partner with the FC and their youth program and be involved with them and be able to use their facilities as part of our partnership.
Now we're training on professional fields, actual coaching, actual train drills.
We don't have to worry about rain. We don't have to be worried about wrecking the grass. Even a little bit of snow. And we could also play at night, which we really hadn't been doing because we didn't have lights. We're blessed to have FC Wisconsin as our home field. In the 40s, Old Milwaukee Beer stepped up to sponsor and be the very first sponsor of the original Brewers. For many years, from what I understand, Old Milwaukee Beer was the sponsor.
When I initially joined the Brewers, the first sponsor that we had, Treats on Humboldt Avenue, which apparently is no longer in existence. And it was about the last bar you would ever expect to have a soccer team. But they were actually very supportive. So after that, we moved over to BBC, which was probably a better place for us at that point. That was more of a sports bar. And then partnership with Old German Beer Hall. They were our home, and that was a good place for us for several years. We have several great sponsors, all from player connections. So obviously we have Red Lion and Three Lions. We have Olson, Model and Talent, Warshawski, Law, and the Dr. Ken.
Three Lions and the Red Lions become a congregating spot for our whole club. And I think it's been a great relationship, and they've really financially supported our team in a really positive way.
The owners who are former Brewers or current Brewers and players, and this is where the guys like to go. It's great.
Three Lions and Red Lion Pub. We're just across the pond. It's just across the street.
Saw just a paper advertisement for the Brewers. Kevin Yankee had just taken over the club and was trying to recruit for the men's team. We were in the state division at that point, so it wasn't exactly the highest level, but we had some good players. We were definitely the best team in the state league, and then we ended up in the WASA, playing in what became the first division. Around 2010, Kevin gave me a call and wanted to meet with myself and my wife, and I kind of had a feeling of what was coming, and he said he was leaving, he had found a job in a different city, and needed someone to take over the Brewers. And as I had been captain and manager for quite a while then, he thought that I would be the best candidate for that position. And it seemed like a lot of responsibility at the time, but the Brewers were just so much a part of my life at that point. All my best friends had played for the Brewers. I'd met my wife through the Brewers. I felt like I owed the club quite a bit. So I was honored to take over. And at that point, I thought that our team, I think at that point we'd won 2 First Division championships in a row. And we'd been such like a tight-knit group of guys, and I think there was some hesitancy to move to the majors division, especially because we've been so dominant in the First Division. It seemed risky, but I thought that it was time to sort of move it to the next level, which I guess was easy to do since I was sort of retiring a little bit as a player and put it on the sort of next generation to step up that level. So yeah, our first season in the majors, I think just kind of coincided with my sort of retirement, and I remember that first game we played against Serbia, and I think Leo as well had stepped down, and Leo and I just sort of sat in the stands and watched that first majors game against Serbia, and it looked like we were going to win it for a while, and I think we ended up pulling out a tie, and it was just like, wow, first game in majors, and we got a tie, and it just looked really like promising, and it's been great ever since.
Been playing for the Brewers since 2010 when I first moved to Milwaukee. I knew some guys that played for the Brewers that I played with at college. As soon as I got to the team, there was not just soccer, there was more for friendship, there was more fun, there was competition, but there was also, as much as I learned about the club, there was a little bit of this, a little bit of that for everybody, whether you were a top class player, a mid-level player, a beginner, there was room for everybody. So I kind of liked that because to me it was a new city moving to Milwaukee, and I knew people that I went to college with or people that I played against. So playing with the Brewers was part of welcoming me in Milwaukee, getting me into Milwaukee and kind of be distracted. When I moved here in 2010, I was going through a life change too, so I moved into a city by myself, which was very nice to me. But instead of like dwelling onto the life changes that I was going through, which were very hard, playing soccer for the Brewers became some sort of a medication, if you will, where I was like healing, but then at the same time doing something that I love doing, and also meeting new friends and getting to know the city and the Brewers. I've been playing soccer for 30 years now, and in my 30 years I've played for 2 clubs. Young Chiefs back in Cape Town for all my life since I was 8 years old. The second club, Brewers FC in Milwaukee. Those are the only 2 clubs. And in between there, I play for Bellevue College, and currently I still play for the Milwaukee Brewers. I don't play in the majors anymore, I play only in the reserves. And the Brewers kind of do things that are funny and things that are kind of like, we recognize the commitment of the people, but also recognize the family and the fun that we all bring. For example, my first year with the Brewers, I won the Best Foreign Player Award, which I've never heard of that before. So it was kind of like goofy and fun. And we have these meetings, pre-seasonal meetings, where we'll go to our previous sponsor or come to the Red Lion or Three Lions where we meet. It's like the whole club, co-ed, women, men, over 40 and over 30, which is exciting for me because I'm gonna be 40 pretty soon. So I don't have to look for another club, so I can stay here and play the over 40s. So I'm excited about that. So we have these meetings where, at the end of the season, we some of us don't play indoor. So you see your friends over the weekends when you get together or go out. But pre-season, when we have these meetings, we all get together and they're exciting, and the spirit and the excitement to start the season again is something that's very beautiful. So this is what kept me with the Brewers, and this is what keeps me playing soccer. It's not only about competition, it's also about enjoying competition, enjoying my friends, and enjoying being together. Hence, I love the Brewers.
Yeah, I've been playing soccer my whole life since I was 4 years old. Started out in Wauwatosa, 1980, I believe that was. In about 2011, I was able to join the Brewers FC. Immediately enjoyed the camaraderie and just the all-around good times, and additionally with the highly skilled players that were on the team, and it was just a lot of fun. It was a great environment. In 2015, I had a life event where I had a couple heart attacks caused by leukemia. So I was forced to abruptly stop playing the game I loved with the club that I love, and it was very difficult for me. But the good thing so a lot of good things came out of that. So when I was hospital, bedridden, on a ventilator, really pretty much on a deathbed. You know, a lot of people came to rally to my support, and one of those people one of those groups that really was there to help me out and my family out was the Brewers FC. My teammates were really there for me, and our friends threw a benefit, and you know, my friends that own a bar threw a benefit for me and my family. I was in the hospital at the time, still battling cancer and trying to get my heart better, so I got to hear about the benefit, and it was a kickball tournament amongst an auction and a number of other things that went on, and all kinds of family event, a pig roast and all this stuff. It was a really amazing thing. And one of the groups, like I said, that came to really support me in that was the Brewers FC. They threw together a kickball team, a great number of players from my club team, and then people that I actually hadn't even played with came to my support. Just hearing our story, my family's story, what was going on, came to support us. And I'll tell you, hearing that kind of stuff when you're in a hospital bed, virtually dying, and fighting for your life, having things like that and people like that come to you and your support, it was that kind of thing that got me through. It's that kind of thing that gave me hope and support and strength, and gave my family strength, my wife strength, and without it, I don't know where I'd be today. So I'm incredibly thankful for that, and for my friends and my friends here at the Brewers FC. It's hard to talk about and not get choked up about it, because it really means a lot to me. And even the following year, we decided to do the event again. After I was pretty much well, you know, you can see now I'm doing well, and I'm, you know, I'm in remission and beating this leukemia. I had a bone marrow transplant. My heart's stronger. I'm even enjoying our favorite liquid diet of the Brewers FC, Cerveza. You know, things are great, and we did the event again this last year, and not for my benefit, it was for another family, or another person's benefit, a friend of ours. And still, even not knowing this person, my teammates came to the benefit again and supported our team, supported the cause, the Krieger Classic cause, which we have now turned into an annual event. And it's really great for me to be able to say that I can look to the Brewers to continue to support that wonderful cause. All the people involved have done so much with this organization and wonderful things with this club. It really is the definition of a high-class football club. It really is. And if you have the opportunity to play with this team, you're fortunate, and you should do your best to do so and just come and have a good time, because it is a good time.
I joined the Milwaukee Brewers back in 2003, 2004. Prior to that, I played for all the other clubs, Polonia, as well as Milwaukee Kickers. And one of the big factors for me in joining the club was the camaraderie and having known the guys even after playing against the Brewers for many years. For me, it was very encouraging. It was a no-brainer joining the club because there was a facet that was presented to me, which was the growth as part of the community. The club definitely allowed me to integrate myself a little bit more in American culture and truly explore the social aspect of Milwaukee soccer and get my name out there, get me to really get some good friends around there. I will tell you the best time of my life has been part of this club. When I joined, we were a reserve-only club, and we had been a majors club, but we dropped to the level of reserves, and it had been many, many years until we got back to majors level. And my class, I want to say my class, we truly had a good group of kids, a group of players that were truly committed to the club, not just to be brewers, drinkers, but soccer players, athletes, dedicated to the game, dedicated to its purity, dedicated to the culture of soccer in Milwaukee with the big names, the Bavarians, the Croatian Eagles, sports club, to truly put our names back. We truly wanted to represent that history and put us back in the big names, and my goal and my biggest accomplishment was getting us back to that majors level. I had tons of fun. I mean, even before joining the club, I actually got a big accident from one of the big guys, the big names in our club, Christian Chandler, who's now my adopted brother. My biggest injury in soccer ever was from him. And I mean, after that, joining the club and finding out he was the guy involved, that really was a surreal moment, and it really drew us together. We got very, very close in and out of the field. He's an integral part of my life. And you have players that I've respected throughout this time, and also the different programs we've had. The women's team has been great. You had Carrie Kowalski, and you had Beth, and many, many other girls that have truly played this sports to the highest level and brought us to a competition level in the city of Milwaukee where we really left our mark. One of the good things I love about the club, even though my time at the majors has slowly diminished and the reserves even, is that we stay together. We stay as a community. You'll probably find that from any other club, but it's truly apparent in this club. As I've gotten married, I've become a parent. I share so much more memories with this club, and it's my true community.
5 years ago, I randomly came upon a website, brewersfc.com, where it said, hey, you want to play some soccer? And I said, sure. I played for Polonia, their reserve team, and we ended up playing you guys. We got killed. I don't even remember what the score was or anything like that. But what I saw was with my co-ed team that you guys had co-ed teams. There weren't a lot of clubs that were real clubs that had co-ed teams. So that's why I said, hey man, if I'm gonna be on a co-ed team, I wanna be on the Brewers. So that passion that the Brewers have and the effort that they give is through every single team, no matter the level, which is one of the best things about being a Brewer. The thing I remember the most is that first game, super nervous, trying to impress everybody. Scored like 4 goals in just a few minutes. And it was funny because that's out of character for me. Anyone watching this knows that's out of character for me. So Dr. Kent still gives me crap about how he tricked everybody in my first game. One of the great things about Brewers is just the camaraderie, friends. I mean, some of my very best friends are Brewers, and I wouldn't have known them if it wasn't for you guys. My wife, in fact, I sort of indirectly met through the Brewers organization, a friend of a Brewer. And you know, and now she started playing on her soccer team, one thing led to another, and now we're in wedful bliss.